Hey guys, this is Kevin from JazTime.com. JazTime.com is an online store that buys, sells, trades authentic luxury watches. We make this video so that our customers can easily choose the best watch for themselves in the comfort of their own home. We offer the lowest prices anywhere online, and if you would like to know the price, simply click on the links in the description below. If you enjoy our videos, we would greatly appreciate it if you would buy a watch from JazTime.com once in a while. Alright, so today we're going to be doing a comparison between two fairly new models. First off, we have the Rolex Seed Roller, the 50th Anniversary Edition, reference number 126600, and that was shown in the Bezel World 2017 show. While this one is the Rolex Deepsea James Cameron Edition, the D-Blue, reference number 126660, and this was shown at the 2018 Bezel World show. We'll be going over the dial, bezel, case crown, bracelet, clasp, and we'll talk about the movements towards the end of the video. Alright, so for the dials, for the seed roller here on my left, we have just the standard Rolex black dial with the sports style dial, which is the maxi dial, which is circular hour markers with the index 6, 9 and the 12 o'clock position. Same thing with the Rolex Deepsea Blue, same type of hour markers. They're both luminescent with a highly legible chromolite display with long-lasting blue luminescence. Of course, the first thing you see here is the difference in dial color. So we had black for the seed roller, while the Deepsea Blue we had the sort of blue gradient from a nice blue color to a black. And that's actually this dial color was actually specific to this watch because it's to commemorate the deep sea challenge that James Cameron did, where he took his green submarine, hence the deep sea name in green, his green submarine down into the Mariana Trench. And this watch was made in commemoration of that. Whereas the Rolex Seed Roller name, we have it in a nice red coloring. And the reason why that's a red coloring is just because it's a throwback to the older style Seed Roller models, where they had the original name in the red coloring. So being the 50th anniversary edition, Rolex decided to put that name in the red once again. Besides that, major difference is for the date window. You can see the Seed Roller has a Cyclops lens on top of that sapphire crystal. You can see it protruding a little bit above it, and that's for magnification and easier viewing of that date, whereas the Deepsea has just no sapphire crystal. It just has its regular sapphire crystal, nice and smoothed out, mainly because for the Deepsea's sapphire crystal, it's a 5.5 millimeter thick sapphire crystal. So that sapphire crystal being so thick already magnifies the date a bit. It doesn't make it as hard to view as if it were the Seed Roller without the Cyclops lens. So easy to read on both watches, but of course Seed Roller is going to win out there, being it does have the magnification overall. Alright, so there's been some minor changes. This is the latest Deepsea model. They've actually done a few things differently. So one thing is that for the Swiss made at the 6 o'clock position, you can see the Seed Roller just has Swiss made, whereas the Deepsea has a Swiss made with the Rolex Crown logo in the center of it. One thing that they've both been updated from the previous models is that the minute and the seconds hand have been extended for about 1 millimeter length to match with the outer indices at the outer edge of the dial. Besides that, obviously one other major difference, you can see the original escape valve, the ring lock system, surrounding the outer edge of the dial, whereas the Seed Roller does not have that. One quick fact about this is that the original escape valve, the text has been changed and updated to the Deepsea text font instead of using the superlative chronometered font at the 6 o'clock position. Alright, so one thing before we move on is that I want to show you guys is that while the James Cameron edition is very beautiful, if you're not really interested in getting that blue to black gradient, we actually have the other Deepsea as well. You can now see that just nice black color, how the Deepsea would look with just the black throughout instead of having that green text or the blue to black gradient dial. The only difference between this Deepsea and the James Cameron is that the Deepsea name itself has just been moved up towards the center and not the 6 o'clock position. That's the only difference between the two watches, but I will be continuing the review with the James Cameron version. I'll just let you take a look at that side by side. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the bezel now. So for the bezel, similar style, it's basically the same style bezel, which is a unidirectional rotatable 60-minute graduated scratch resistant Cerachrome, which is Rolex's fancy way of saying a ceramic bezel. The numerals and indices are all coated in a platinum for more durability and a nicer look to it, as that platinum sort of matches the look of the nice sleek silver stainless steel of Rolex, the 904L steel, which is an in-house made steel by Rolex that has additional corrosion resistance and a nicer shine to it. Besides that, these are both professional divers watches. The reason why the bezel is unidirectional, as you can see, I can't shift it over to the right. I'll actually go ahead and show you the function of that bezel really quickly here. So as you see, I can't move it over to the right. It can only move counterclockwise, and that's to track elapsed time. The bezel itself is just used to track elapsed time, specifically for diving. If a diver wanted to track their oxygen levels on their tank, this is how they would do it. They would just move that peridot to the minute hand, and they can track the amount of time, the Arabic numerals in 10 increments, so 10, 20, 30, 40, whereas the large fat indices are 5mm increments, so 5, 10, 15. 5, 10, 15. But of course, if you're not a professional diver and you're just an everyday average Joe guy, you can also just use the elapsed time to track other things like how fast it'll take you to run a mile, or even check how long a business meeting is taking. Okay, and of course, we're going to go ahead and reset that back to the 12 o'clock position. One thing I forgot to mention is that for it being unidirectional, the reason why is unidirectional, as I mentioned with the tracking of elapsed time for oxygen, for a diver's oxygen level, when you're diving, you don't want to accidentally bump the bezel into a different direction and give you a false reading, because that could be fatal. All right, so that's the functions of the bezel. You can see this very beautiful black ceramic, very scratch resistant. Moving on to the case size now. So for the case size of the Sea Dweller here on my left is a 43mm case size, whereas the Deepsea is just 1mm larger than that, being a 44mm case size, but of course less dial real estate compared to the Sea Dweller, mainly because of that original escape valve covering the good portion of the dial, so the dial does look a little bit smaller on the Deepsea compared to the Sea Dweller. But the main difference for the case lies in the side profile of them. As you can see, the Sea Dweller is fairly large, but not as large as the Deepsea. The Deepsea is the largest side profile or thickness of any Rolex watch. The Sea Dweller comes in at about 14.5mm thick, I believe, whereas the Deepsea, I know for sure, is the 17.7mm thick, so about 3mm larger than the Sea Dweller. And if you were to see the Submariner, we actually have a review with the Submariner as well. You can see that the Submariner almost looks like two of them stacked to make the Deepsea. But one thing you'll notice is that they both have these little circular markers on the side of their case, very similar circular markings. And that's actually the helium escape valve, which for professional divers, when they resurface from lower portions of the ocean, they have to go through a depressurization chamber, which is a room that has a mixture of gases, helium being one of them. The helium gas is actually small enough molecules that it can actually go into the watch itself and build pressure inside of the watch enough to pop the crystal out. So this Rolex invented the helium escape valve, which is an ingenious way of doing this. Once the watch reaches a certain bar pressure, the valve would automatically open and release that helium out, therefore protecting your watch as you come through the depressurization chambers. And this is for both watches. Moving on to the crowns now, they both have pretty much the same crown functions. They're both triple lock, triple waterproofness systems. However, the water resistance is the difference here. The Sea Dweller is a water resistance of 1,220 meters or 4,000 feet, as stated at the front of the dial. You can see that there, 4,000 meters, or 4,000 feet, 1,220 meters, versus the Rolex Deepsea, which states at the 6 o'clock position right there. You can see that 12,800 feet or 3,900 meters. So Deepsea can go even deeper than the Sea Dweller, as stated by the name Deepsea. But I'll go ahead and show you the crown functions just so you can get the gist of it. So for the Sea Dweller, this is going to be the same crown functions as the Deepsea. So it unwinds counterclockwise as shown into the standard position, which is the position where you can wind the watch from 15 to 20 clockwise turns is all you need to get the watch started once more. Pulling crown out to the next position will allow you to adjust the date instantaneously as shown. And pulling crown out to the final position, start looking at the seconds hand, pull that off, and there we are, the final position where it stops at seconds hands for precise time settings, such as to an atomic clock online. You can set it down to exact seconds, while also being able to adjust the hands however you like to set the time. Pressing the crown back in will start that once more, and always make sure to screw the crown nice and tight in against the case to keep it within the crown protectors and for the water resistance. Once again, 1,220 feet or meters and 4,000 feet versus 3,900 meters or 12,800 feet. One thing I want to mention about the case though, that applies to both watches, is that they both have their lugs updated, meaning the lugs have been slimmed down about 1 millimeter to add 1 millimeter thickness to the center of the Oyster bracelet, and that's to have this overall uniform symmetrical look for each watch. That doesn't make the bracelet look too small when when paired with the 44 millimeter case size. So you can see very beautiful tapering from the case to the from the lugs to the case to the bracelet now. But still same style bracelet, Oyster style bracelet, nicely sand finished throughout. This is a sports piece, so no high polish here. There's the clasp, and then the bottom portion of the bracelet as well. For the clasp, we're looking at similar style clasp, which is the safety folding Oyster lock, as I'll show here. So safety off. This little safety is the hinge. Safety off on the Deepsea, and then folding Oyster opens up as so, revealing these nicely high polished clasp blades with the Rolex name embossed on there. So one thing to mention about the clasp, so they both have similar functions but work a little bit differently. I'm going to start with the Sea Dwellers first. So for the Sea Dweller 43s, you pull it out at a 45-degree angle. And you can see there's little rivets underneath the clasp that allows for 2 millimeter increment adjustments for a total maximum adjustment of 20 millimeters. And that's to allow the bracelet to move outward or inward. So 2 millimeter increments for a total of 20. And also we have the flip lock extension system, as you can see by these flat links here, that allows for adjustment for wetsuits. So if you have a little bit of millimeter increments to adjust on your wrist because of your wetsuit, you can flip open that lock and adjust as so. The Deepsea has the same type of function, but it works a little bit differently. So once again, we're going to go with the 45-degree angle to pull that bracelet off. But you'll see that same rivets again, but for the Deepseas, you actually have to open it up from the top, and you can see the teeth of those rivets sticking out now, and then you'll be able to adjust as so. And then once you're done adjusting, you go ahead and place those rivets back down. So that was the glide lock extension system, and then we have the same flip lock extension links as the Sea Dweller. So both are same in those regards. All right, so for the movement of the watches, for the Sea Dweller, with this beautiful Oyster case backing, the high polish has the Sea Dweller name embossed on there with the Rolex crown logos and the water resistance and such. The Deepsea, same thing, but instead of satin finish instead of a high polish. The movements of the watches, they actually both have the same movement, which is the newly updated 3235 movement, which is an in-house made perpetual mechanical self-winding movement. It's updated from the 3135 movement, which was a tried and tested movement for over 10 years. It's still within Swiss specs of -2 + 2 seconds a day. However, they've changed the shock absorbers, which was the industry standard shock absorbers, which were the KIF shock absorbers, with their own in-house shock absorbers now. So Rolex has what's called the high performance Paraflex shock absorbers, which claims to have 50% more shock absorption than the previous shock absorbers. The escapement has been updated as well. It's now Rolex's in-house made Chronergy escapement. It's a skeletonized escapement wheel to reduce inertia, to keep it within those Swiss specs of the -2 + 2 seconds a day. But also, made out of a nickel phosphorus that pairs with a blue parachrome hairspring to add resistance against magnetism for this watch, as magnetism can severely affect the precision of a watch. However, the functions of the movement are still the same, so the minute, hour, and seconds hand, with instantaneous changing of day and stopping the seconds hand for precise time setting. One thing to mention though is that the power reserve has been updated from the previous movement. The previous movement had 48-hour power reserve. Now we're looking at a 70-hour power reserve, meaning you can put this watch down a Friday evening, pick it back up on a Monday afternoon. It'll be keeping time just fine. Now let me actually go ahead and show you these watches on my wrist now. So locate that safety folding, safety open, folding down, safety locked. There is the Sea Dweller, absolutely gorgeous. You can see it doesn't sit too high off the wrist. Will fit under suit cuffs, dress cuffs very nicely. Now for the Deepsea, same thing. Find that safety folding oyster. All right, close that in, and there we are. That gradient blue dial, absolutely gorgeous gradient blue dial. Nice tapering of the bracelet, high polish on the side, but you can actually see that side profile. It sits very high on the wrist. I'll show you that side by side now. So side by side, you can see it sits much higher off the wrist than the Sea Dweller. So if you're interested in any of these watches for the lowest possible price, check out our website, JazTime.com. We have the lowest prices guaranteed. We offer a 1-year warranty. And if you liked the video, please like, comment, subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys soon.
If you want to find out more about the watch you just saw in the video, you can just click below on Show More to see the full description. Then you can check the link next to model as seen in video, click on it, and you will get to the proper page where you can see all the details. If you're watching on a mobile phone, you have to click on the arrow down on the right hand side below the video to see the full description. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you would like to share this video with your friends, you can use the share button below and share it on any platform you like. If you have questions, constructive feedback, want to tell us about some mistakes or misspeaks, just write a comment below. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe to our channel and visit our channel page where you can find all the videos. And if you're interested in a specific watch brand, you can check out our playlists. If you want to check the price for a watch or want to buy one, remember at JazTime.com you always get a steep discount, so you should check the prices with us. If you want to know the price for a specific watch, just go to Google, type in JazTime, plus the brand, model, and the details you're interested in, and Google will find the right page for you. Thank you for watching.